Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Here's a headline from the Crypto Basic. Market veteran Raoul Pal says you can't help but stare at this XRP-led global crypto chart. And so I'm going to continue to beat the drum of optimism here because I firmly believe, for very good reasons, we are absolutely going to have that euphoric blast off that we've had at the end of every single market cycle throughout crypto's roughly 16-year history. It has always happened. There are tons of reasons, and I'm going to highlight more of them in this latest Moon Lambo Hot Jam. And XRP, I got to tell you this, going to absolutely continue to put Bitcoin to shame performance-wise. Here's a headline from Cointelegraph. Can XRP keep outperforming Bitcoin this bull cycle? And I saw this headline, and my response was, well, hallelujah, they're acknowledging that XRP is outperforming Bitcoin. At least you like to see that. I'm just surprised. And to acknowledge that this is probably going to proceed for the duration of this market cycle? A little surprising, because they have spent most of the last decade crapping all over XRP because reasons. I think a lot of them suffer from the affliction known as XRP derangement syndrome. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Now, I happen to be a gigantic fan of Raoul Pal. I think he's one of the most insightful and well-informed individuals in the entire crypto space, and he consistently delivers, imparts his knowledge, again, very data-based, with the entire world of crypto. There's a reason that he's got, I think, over 1.2 million followers on X. Well-deserved. He's one of those people where every time that I see something from him pop up in my feed when I'm on X, I stop and I read it. And so he shared a new chart, and he's articulating exactly what I've been spending a lot of time in recent days highlighting, which is that it's a virtual certainty that, yes, we're going to have that full-blown euphoric alt season, and yes, XRP is going to be leading that charge. I mean, technically you could say in terms of altcoins, historically anyway, Ethereum kicks it off, but either way, in terms of performance, I will not be surprised if we look back at the end of this market cycle, and if you can count from the election and it's past November up until whenever this thing ends, I will not be surprised if XRP ends up being the #1 performing coin out of the top 100. And it is to this point. Like right now, ever since November, XRP is #1. I will not be surprised if that persists. So anyway, a piece reads as follows. Altcoins may be on the cusp of an explosive move as global macro investor founder Raoul Pal shares a bullish outlook for the XRP-led Total 3 market cap. And so the Total 3 chart, it's the top 125 coins by market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. He says, you can't help but stare at this chart. And so here, I'll just highlight the actual post here. This was it. He just posted this on Tuesday. And so here's the actual post. Crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin. And he says, you can't help but stare at this chart, total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And this is what I have been consistently highlighting. It's that the trading range for this son of a gun, it's been narrowing literally for years. Ever since it peaked last market cycle, it goes back down. It's just been trading within an increasingly tightened range, which is normal. You don't have to be a chart guy to understand that very basic concept. And then typically, before you get to the end of your trend lines, before the apex where they meet, it's going to break out. So given that we are absolutely in a bull market still, I think you're going to see a very strong rotation from people taking profits from Bitcoin and then plugging it into large caps. And then once those run, they'll take those profits and plug them into mid caps and then so on and so forth down to small caps and some micro caps. That's what's going to happen. So I don't think most coins are going to hit new all-time highs, but in terms of multiplier effect from here, all of them are going to run. That would be historically normal. And that'll be the moment where everybody's a financial genius for a very short period of time. And I remember my first experience of an alt season in 2017. I just jumped into crypto, crazy time to jump into crypto. And there was a very short period of time where no matter what you bought, you weren't wrong. If you were if you tried to lose money in that environment, you couldn't. It was exceedingly difficult to actually, if you wanted for some reason to lose money, very difficult. That's the environment that we do have coming up here. I just think that XRP is going to just continue to substantially outperform here. And so again, we're in an increasingly tightening range. It's going to break out of this. It cannot and will not hold here moving sideways forever. No chart does. No chart does, period. And by the way, Raoul Pal, just to be clear, he firmly believes that XRP is going to be a top performer here as well. He shared this post at the end of August, and he said XRP in the process of full porting, which is his way of saying, yeah, this thing's going to blow. And you can see what he's highlighting here. Look at most recently, XRP running up this market cycle, and you can see that you're getting to the end of this thing at some point. It's going to happen, folks. That's a virtual certainty. Now, I don't technically know that. I don't technically know anything when it comes to price action. Nobody knows for sure. But that's why I keep explaining it's about probability of outcome. And by a lot, the most probable thing is that XRP melts faces. That is what's coming here, folks. By the way, chart analyst Crypto Insight UK responded to Raoul Pal here, and he shared this chart. It's a Bitcoin dominance and Ethereum dominance chart. And he thinks that this thing is going to plummet also. You can see what he's projecting here. And he's ultimately correct. And XRP will substantially outperform and have a huge, at its peak, I don't know where XRP dominance is going to peak, but it's going to have a substantial portion of the entire crypto asset class. Even if it's short-lived, because, historically when XRP runs, whatever its peak ends up being, if history is to kind of rhyme with itself, it may only take a few weeks to get there, and then that's it. And yes, that is correct. All of these years, all that waiting, and then it's just over from the beginning of its final run to the peak. It's over in a few weeks. That would be historically normal. And that's fine by me, because as long as we get our crack at the opportunity for life-changing wealth, that's fine. I don't need it to drag on forever and ever. But it does mean that you're going to have limited time. If you want to get out of your position and take those profits from XRP, you are going to have a very limited amount of time. And I'm concerned that not enough people are prepared for that. I don't know if enough people have the historical perspective and understanding to know that when this thing goes, it's going to happen super fast. And it'll be fun, it'll be exciting, but you can't just hold on to it forever if you want to take profits. That's all I'm saying here. Then there's this post from Greg Crypto. This is the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin and ETH. So he shared his version of this, and he said this is more bullish. And it looks like in this cup and handle pattern that he's highlighting here, he's noting that it's actually already broken above a key resistance level, and then historically it just comes back down. Well, that's what if the chart plays out the way you would expect it to, then it goes back down to test the support, and then it finally blasts off. And so that is the moment we're at. And that's also why I keep telling you guys, we are super close to the end of this thing. Even if the few analysts that think this is going to go into 2026, even if they end up being correct, and maybe they are, I'm not saying I'm sold on that, but it could be right. They could be right. That's still not long from now. You understand, next month we're in Q4 already. We're at the end of the year, right? And then Chart Nerd responded to that, and he's basically beating the same drum here. You can see it's above that particular resistance level. And Chart Nerd wrote, total 3 inverse head and shoulder breakout attempt in motion. Altcoins will soon rise from the ashes. So whatever pattern you want to call this, what I'm telling you, and I'll let the chart analysts argue amongst themselves if they so choose. Either way, they're all seeing this as incredibly bullish. This thing is going to break. All of them agree that that's the case here. And by the way, Chart Nerd, he is very bullish on XRP as well. I shared this the other day. He's targeting XRP hitting $15.35. He posted this just a couple days ago. I don't make price predictions myself. If we end up getting that high this market cycle, I will not be surprised. I don't think that price level is crazy. And then we have this. Can XRP keep outperforming Bitcoin this bull cycle? Again, spoiler alert, the answer is yes. Absolutely it can and will. I mean, can you imagine, even if Bitcoin doubled from here, which I think is a big ask from this point. I mean, if it happens, fine, it happens. I'd love for that to happen, frankly. So even if Bitcoin goes to like $222,000, which I doubt it's going to happen. The analysts that are calling for like $150,000 for Bitcoin, and that's the peak, plus or minus a little bit, I think those are the most rational perspectives. And that is what I see roughly from most of the analysts that I follow. Some are a little more conservative, some are a little less conservative, but somewhere around there. But I'm just saying, if that's where Bitcoin's going to go, that's not a very big increase from here. There's not much left. Now for XRP, it does not take much money coming in to get a crazy multiplier, even from this level. Getting to those double-digit price levels, not crazy. And XRP, it's been outperforming Bitcoin. It's going to continue outperforming Bitcoin. Don't be surprised when indeed that happens. And so here you can see they wrote, the XRP BTC weekly chart shows the crypto market's most reliable bullish reversal pattern, dubbed inverse head and shoulders. And on Monday, the pair was under the pattern's neckline resistance at 3,145 Satoshi. A decisive close above this level could validate the formation and open the door to a run toward 5,700 Satoshi. That's more than 100% higher than current levels by the end of 2025. Again, if you hear by the end of 2025, you're like, oh, that long? No, that's not long, folks. Again, we're about to enter Q4 next month. And it doesn't mean it has to happen in December. It could happen much sooner than that. When the market goes, it goes. And either you have exposure to the market when it happens or you don't here. But I'm just telling you, yeah, there's not much left for Bitcoin to run. There just isn't in terms of percentage gains. In terms of percentage gains for XRP, there's tremendous opportunity there. And historically, I mentioned in my last video, worth repeating though, I want as many people as possible to be aware of this. Historically, when XRP runs, it has its first big burst in a market cycle. Then it moves sideways for maybe a little over half a year, about half a year. And then it has its second major burst. And this second major burst, historically, substantially outperforms the first burst. If you're looking in terms of gains against any fiat currency, like the United States dollar, yes, the second burst, way more substantial. So if history rhymes with itself, you could expect that here. And that's why when all these analysts calling for, at least double-digit price action for XRP, that's one of the reasons it ain't crazy. It really is not crazy. And then XRP is pressing into a resistance band it has failed to clear since mid-2019. And that indeed is true. You can see the red band that they're talking about right here. And when it was there in 2019, it was still falling down. So I do believe that last market cycle, in 2021, XRP would have rocketed way higher against Bitcoin. And it did move. Don't get me wrong. Like if you're looking at the screen, you can see her moving my mouse. It did move. But it's not surprising at all that you didn't see a new all-time high on this particular chart because the SEC was attacking Ripple and specifically XRP as a result, claiming that it itself was a security. So not surprising at all, but the idea that XRP would never, for the rest of its history, ever hit a new all-time high against Bitcoin, I think is completely absurd. Because it hit its all-time high in the first half of 2017, actually, not even the second half. It was in the first half of 2017. Never seen a new all-time high since then. So it's nice that we've seen a new all-time high against the dollar, sure. But when this thing starts blazing to the upside and all this money's flowing into the crypto space, that's where it gets ridiculous. That's where the greatest opportunity for life-changing wealth as an XRP holder is going to come into play here. So yeah, it's going to run here. And it's going to infuriate all of the toxic Bitcoin maximalists out there. And that will that will bring me never-ending joy to know that's the case. Because they are the most detestable people in the entire crypto space, these toxic Bitcoin maximalists. Well, hell of a freaking community out there, folks. And I know it's not literally every single person that likes Bitcoin. Like, I hold Bitcoin, don't get me wrong. But that freaking community, there's so many toxic people there. It's just awful. So it'll make my heart sing knowing that XRP is destroying Bitcoin performance-wise, and there's nothing that those little bitch asses can do about it. That'll make me very happy. And so anyway, they cite here, spanning the 2,440 to 3,570 Satoshi range, this red zone has repeatedly rejected upside attempts, with regulatory headwinds from the SEC's lawsuit over XRP security status keeping bulls at bay. Ripple's partial settlement earlier in 2025 has eased those concerns, fueling speculation that this cycle could finally deliver the breakout that eluded XRP in previous bull markets. Well, it was only one previous bull market where substantial performance didn't happen, and again, that's because XRP was under attack by the SEC. It was just one, not bull markets, one bull market. We are looking to see if we can build enough momentum for us to break out here, wrote chartist Crypto Insight UK. And so he does believe that we're going to rip here upwards of 9,000 Satoshi. So you can imagine what that'll mean for the XRP USD chart or whatever your fiat currency of choice is. Way, 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 way higher. That is next. And like I always say, folks, markets find bottoms. And look what happened here in 2024 as we were down in this range. I said throughout 2024, I don't know for sure where the bottom is, but I said markets find bottoms. Things get oversold, and then the market corrects for that. And what happened after I spent months saying that? Because admittedly, I didn't know for sure where the bottom was. Of course not. Nobody could have known for sure. Well, what happened? Well, of course I was right. And then look at this. Look at this green bar right here at the end of 2024, after the election. Of course the market found a bottom. And now we've just been doing some more consolidating, but it's not done. It is. I don't believe there's a remote chance that it's actually not. It's going to keep running. This is why, like, anybody that's not excited, if you have skin in the game, you're invested in crypto land, and you got a broad portfolio here, and you're doing the smart thing, and you're just how could you not be excited to be in crypto right now? That's just a ridiculous concept to me. Like, this is the time to be excited, and it's only going to get more exciting once the market really starts ripping, but this is the moment in time, folks. So yes, it was nice to see this from Cointelegraph. It looks like an accidental dose of reality from Cointelegraph, very surprisingly here, but you love to see it. So I'll give them credit. I'll give credit where it's due here, happily. But yes, what a beautiful chart. It's going to break out, and there are so many of you listening right now that have been hanging out here in crypto land for years, and we're finally actually going to get ours, and XRP is going to lead the way. That I very much believe. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.